Let's go. It's time. Put on pants.
Oh, who's starting?
I'll start.
Okay.
I was throwing that uncomfortable silence out there to see who would blink first, and it was you, so I win.
Okay.
Episode 93. Here we go. Playpans podcast. Man, we've got like way too much shit to cover tonight. I think you brought a lot to the table. I brought some things to the table. We'll probably blow through most of it, forget half of it, and end up doing a top five of our top five favorite INXS songs of all time. And you sent this to me today, and you're like, dude, INXS, are you a fan? I'm like, well, I blew it last episode where I picked the wrong thing. So I'm like, I'm going INXS because I know what a fan you are. So I'm like, yes, top five favorite INXS songs. And dude, I watched some videos today. I did a little homework today.
Like, where are you with that band, though? I mean, okay, you know I love them. I absolutely love them. I think they're amazing. And when I sent it, because I think there was some other, I'll talk about it. We've got some other good like top fives coming up, like down the road.
Right.
Where are you with INXS?
You know what? I came to the party very late because I didn't get into that. Well, I didn't know of them till they were already big. They were in their peak in the late 80s, early 90s. That was their peak season. And I was just like, what is this new wave shit? I didn't get into it. I didn't like it. I didn't think any of it was good. I hated all of it. I was into the hair metal, man. I was all Guns N' Roses, all that shit, Whitesnake. So, like we've talked many times about, you had your dividing lines. And I wasn't, at that point in my life, I was not straying outside of those lines. I was very focused on my lane. I didn't move right or left. I was all about that metal. And I came to INXS much, much later, and I've grown to appreciate that band more and more every year. I really do.
He has to go down as one of the great frontmen. And, they were kind of like a rockier, cooler, dare I say, Duran Duran, I mean, because a lot of it dealt with image with that band, and they were a big MTV band.
Right.
But they had the songs, though, and Duran Duran had great songs, too. I mean, they just weren't pretty boys. They had great songs. So the comparison, I think, is fair because I don't discount. And, Duran Duran's going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But INXS, man, they have the songs. They've got the catalog going all the way back to the early 80s. And then kind of like every other band out there, Nirvana didn't do INXS any favors.
No,
like most bands. And they were already on the decline, and then Nirvana came in and then just kind of wiped them out,
Yeah,
so
just said goodnight.
We'll get into that a little bit. We don't have to spend a whole lot of time. I mean, now we've been doing this podcast for a couple years, so I'm sure we, at some point a year ago, we covered that this is the anniversary of Elvis's death. So it's 46 years now. I imagine there'll be a big to-do like on the 50th. I imagine, I could see like a television special and, doing different things. 46 years, 1977, Elvis Presley dies. And I'm 6 years old and I'm outside playing in the street with a tennis racket, going just lobbing the tennis ball back and forth with my dad. And my mom comes out because we weren't in school yet. And my mom comes out and she's in hysterics that Elvis had passed away. And that for me is like my first memorable celebrity death. I remember the exact day that it happened on that hot August day in North Tonawanda, New York. My mom was a huge, as I know your parents were too, a huge Elvis fan. My dad could give a shit, but my mom worshiped him.
Yeah. Well, think about the time period and your mom, what her age was when he came out. You know what I mean? Like that was your guy, and Elvis was huge. I don't remember because I was much younger than you, Rod. So I don't remember when that happened. But I just remember my mom talking about it different times over the years, saying it was just horrible, and she was actually supposed to go see him because that's, that was later years, and he was doing the big stints out in Vegas. And then he would take off and do some tours, and she was supposed to go see him at Melody Fair in North Tonawanda. But then he died.
Yeah.
She's never forgave him for that. She never got to see him. She's like still pissed. She's like, Elvis died before I got a chance to see him. And, you mentioned about it, the 50th anniversary. There will be a huge to do on the 50th for, other than the fact that it's a nice round number. is that they locked away his autopsy report until 50 years is up.
Well, the family wanted to hide it. The thing about
Right.
Elvis, and this is where he was kind of an asshole. Okay, he was this big guy, like, oh, I'm anti-drugs, blah blah blah, and drugs to him was cocaine and marijuana. He didn't think all those fucking pills that he was taking was drugs. So the family wanted to hide everything.
Right.
He was the biggest pill popper druggie on the planet, but he didn't consider that drugs.
Correct. Well,
So
it's all about how you want to
cover it up.
Yeah. And what I had found out is that like his intestines were so jacked and filled with his own shit because of the drugs, and his diet was horrible. He lived on cheeseburgers and sodas. That's what he lived on, and the pills. His guts were a wreck. Like they were
you start
impacted.
taking all of that stuff to like when you can't sleep and stuff, man, that fucks up your bowels. I mean, even when you're taking anything to numb yourself, because I know this from a couple of surgeries now. And I remember specifically my back surgery. Okay. So they're numbing up your back when I had my surgery. I'm not leaving the hospital until I shit.
Right. Yeah.
You can't go. You can't, you have to go poop before they're going to let you leave. Now think about where they're numbing me up too, and think what it's close to. So you're in that area. So it's just, I'm like, I don't have to go, man. I just, nothing is happening. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to know the horrors, what they had to do to me to get me to go.
I kind of
But
don't. No, I'm good.
It's after surgery like that, it's all about pooping.
Right.
So he is on one dose. He can't fall asleep. More pills. He can't fall asleep. A third dosage. Now he's so fucking numbed up that he goes to the bathroom and they're like, don't fall asleep in there. Okay. Goes to the bathroom, falls asleep. So that's it. I mean, I'm sure it was a cardiac arrest, but between that and a cardiac arrest and whatever, they were worried about him falling asleep on the shitter.
Right, because everyone said it was like drugs that did it. Well, indirectly, it wasn't an overdose per se, like you're used to. It's like he was dead by the time he hit the floor. He was on the hopper. He was found with his ass in the air, his face down, and he was dead. Like as soon as he hit the floor, he was already dead. Like he fell off. Like if it was a drug overdose, he'd have been like trying to crawl to the door and all this shit. So
I heard another pretty reliable story. And again, a lot of this is unknown because the family was covering all this stuff up. But obviously the joke was, and the punchline was, that Elvis died on the shitter.
Right.
But man, I had heard from a pretty reliable source. And I think back in the day, interviewing like one of the Memphis Mafia or whatever. And again, he might still be covering up, but Elvis's favorite chair was a barber chair, and he had a barber chair in his bathroom. And I was told that he was in the barber chair that's what he fell off of. It was his favorite thing to sit in. It was his, a big, think about how comfortable a barber chair is.
yeah.
That's just inside, but we don't know, I think most reports are going to say that, yeah, he fell off the hopper.
He felt his girlfriend at the time, Ginger. She wrote in her memoir that she walked in. The girlfriend found the dude, and she said, "Yeah, ass up, pants around his pajamas around his ankles, and just eyes, bloodshot, dead." But then again, who do you trust in that whole thing? You know what I mean? She wants to sell books, so she's going to try and give you some good stuff. I don't know what to believe anymore, man. But since we're talking about shitting, Rod, I want to update people. Last episode. At the end of the episode, I talked about a problem we had at work at the radio station where I work in New Orleans. And
why don't you give the Sports Center edition of what happened? And then I'm so happy you're bringing this up, and people on the internets are very happy you're bringing this up right now. So please, why don't you just a quick little backstory.
So somebody was taking a dump at work in the evening, and then in the morning when the next people would come in, like me or some other people, engineers, general managers, jocks, whatever, they'd walk into the hopper and there'd be a freaking a gift in the basket, as you would say, right? Someone didn't flush. And so I don't know how I got designated guy to take care of this problem, but I was designated guy to take care of this problem.
You're the program director, dude. Okay, direct some programs.
So yeah, I want programs, on the radio, but not somebody's asshole. So I'm like, so I did what any good manager would do at the time. I blew it off twice. I just didn't give a shit. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Come on, man. This is grown man shit. Figure it out.
Classic middle management.
It's brilliant, right? I'm not fucking with that. So anyway, it came back to haunt me. My GM came in last week and he's like, what the he's pissed.
He walked into a turd.
He walked into a bomber, and he comes out and he's mad. He's yelling and he's laughing. And I'm like, oh, I gotta address this damn thing. So, and I said at the end of last episode, I said, I need to address it, and I will address it this week. And I did. Monday morning, the first thing I did Monday morning, forget about music, forget about all the things I got to do for radio.
Sure.
Hey, just send out an email about, hey guys, let's flush the toilet. But I didn't want to send out just a, hey guys, let's flush the toilet email. I wanted to be sensitive, but I wanted to be amusing, but I wanted to be careful, because this could be an HR thing. You never know in this day and age. Everyone's sensitive. So here's what I sent. Let me know how I did, Rod, because you've seen these types of emails before. In the subject line of this email, I just simply put water conservation. Subject of the email. So that pops up and you're like, oh, water conservation. This could be interesting.
Where's he going with this here?
And I said, while we should always look for ways to help conserve energy and water, there are times when that isn't feasible. For instance, a toilet should be flushed every time, all the time. Let's keep that men's room clean and fresh. End of email. I said it without going into directness. You know what I mean? Just keep it clean and fresh, boys. Let's keep it clean and fresh.
I would have liked the word unfeasible.
I wasn't making jokes. This is something that could end up going to HR. I was not going to throw jokes. I got to it. Well, so to follow up on that, so I sent it out just to the dudes. I kept it very in the wheelhouse, right?
So you didn't even put like at the end there, like, so in closing, flush your fucking turds. That's not in there.
Damn. No. I had to be a middle management, man. So I send it and I'm like, okay, I think we got this taken care of. Well, no one responds to that email because
I'm wondering, okay, which idiot? Because dummies at radio stations, everybody's a fucking comedian. I'm going to reply all with my little zinger, and then I can only imagine a whole afternoon of zingers flying around.
None, not one. Everyone was too chicken to do it. But what happened was everyone kind of went offline and started texting me. And what was great? Everyone knew who it was. Everybody said the same dude. They're like, oh, it's this guy. Oh, it's this guy.
Did the Turd Bandit reach out to you?
No, he did not. Everyone else on that email reached out to me. Oh, it's this dude. They all hit me. Everyone knew who it was. I'm like, I guess maybe I should just went and talk to the guy, but I couldn't bring myself to have a face-to-face with another grown man. So anyway, that is where we ended things. And for this whole week now, I've been the first guy in the place. I've checked. Now it's a thing. I check every morning. We've been fresh and clean. So,
dude,
hopefully,
Turd Gate settled.
Well, now see, it's only been 3-4 days, so we'll see how this goes. I will update us if we have an errant morning.
Well done.
Great.
Well done.
Yeah. Just what I wanted to do.
Can I share an email from Gravy Ganger Mundo, who's been on board with us too? He's a big he's a big ladle guy, listening to Alex's podcast, Pass the Gravy. But man, he jumped right over with us when we started doing ours. And he said, Brother Rod, and he always mentions you. You remember Mundo? He's the guy that's got the split shirt at my golf tournament, and half of it is play pants.
Yes.
Half of it is Pass the Gravy. I mean, he's the best.
He's the guy with the signs at the wrestling too, right? Is he the same?
Yes.
Dude? Yeah.
And he got turned away. He wasn't allowed to bring him in. There was just a wrestling match, and he said he got no more signs.
That's crap.
No more signs, because he's gotten on not only pay-per-view, but like I don't know, like the Monday Night Raws and stuff like that, holding up Play Pants Pod.
We should have more listeners with that kind of marketing.
All right. So Mundo says, y'all should do a segment on your Play Pants podcast where you all create a band with the most overrated members, like most overrated singer and guitarist and drummer, etc., or maybe just your overrated bands. I'm curious what you guys would choose. Continued success, loyal listener Mundo.
I like that though.
You know, I mean, is there off the top of your head, is there an overrated band? Or is it just a band that you don't like?
I never understood the term overrated. I never looked up the definition of what that's supposed to mean. Like, it feels like it's just bands you don't like. Like, you know, just to pick out of the sky a Creed. Okay, you could take Creed because everyone loves to hate on Creed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are they overrated? I don't know what that means because they all are talented at their instruments. Mark Tremonti is great. I mean, love or hate Scott Stapp, dude can fucking sing, right? They wrote some hits. They've sold 50 million albums worldwide. Are they overrated? They got success. I don't know.
I don't know how much heat you want on this pod.
Bring it.
How much heat do you want on this pod?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Bring it.
Beyonce.
Ooh, wow.
Overrated. Overrated. Super talented, great, awesome. She's a phony. She's not even like a real person. She's not real.
It does feel that way, doesn't it? She's like a robot.
There's just, I mean, I get it. You want this thing. And right now she's getting her ass kicked by Taylor Swift. Yeah. But, you know, Beyonce, she's from here. So again, I don't know how much heat you want on this pod. You want the beehive coming at you or coming at me, us. I don't know if she's just, you know, I just something about her that just seems phony to me.
Yeah. Overrated.
Something about her seems a little phony. But, you know, is she talented? Does she dance her ass off? Yes.
Sings well, you know.
She sings really good. Does she write her own stuff? No. Is every song got 25 fucking songwriters on it? Yeah. You know, Jay-Z's cool. I don't know. But again, who's overrated? You know, it's hard because if you just think Miley Cyrus is some Pop-Tart and you see her out bouncing around to all these award shows and she's singing, it's like, oh, why is this girl, like, why is she the go-to girl? You know why? Because she's fucking amazing.
She's great.
You know, she's amazing. I don't think she's overrated. I don't know. I don't know who's overrated. Is Justin Bieber overrated? Can he sing? I
don't know. Maybe.
Britney Spears is overrated. Britney Spears.
Oh, yeah. She can't sing.
Britney Spears, overrated. Worse than B. Worse than Queen B. I think Britney Spears is just sad and laughable right now.
Oh, now? Oh, no. That chick needs to be back in fucking conservatorship, man. I mean, she's a mess. She's a hot mess. She's yeah. I don't think this is going to end well for her. It doesn't look good. I don't wish that on her.
I think somebody just sent me something today that she might be getting separated from that new husband.
Yeah, no shit.
Maybe breaking news here on the Play Pants podcast.
Wow, we are nothing like a couple old white bald dudes talking about Beyonce, though, by the way. That doesn't make much sense.
Okay, is there a musician that's overrated? Is there a guy out there that's thought of and it's like, you know what? Like Bob Dylan doesn't speak to me. You know, for me, he's not the voice of my generation, and I don't understand because he can't sing his way out of a paper bag.
But that's personal preference again, you know.
But is he rated a little too high?
Oh, I would say, you know what?
Is he rated a little too high?
Because he, you know, shits in a brown paper bag and he's on the cover of Rolling Stone. Every new album he puts out, they're like, oh my God, Dylan's got a new album. And I'm like,
right.
It's not good.
But
who gives a fuck?
But it's personal preference, you know.
Right.
Does anybody think Lars Ulrich is a really good drummer? I don't know. He's not. You know, if he winds up on a great metal drummer list, he's overrated. If he's in any kind of a list, he's overrated. Like that would be a rating. If he wound up on a list, if you show me a list of Lars Ulrich and he's in the top 25 metal drummer list, that's an overrating.
Well, okay. You know, I know you love to do this one all the time because we've brought this one up many episodes, you know. Anthony Kiedis, overrated singer, you know. He can't sing.
He is not on any best singer list. So we know that. I just don't think he's rated. He's not overrated. Nobody has rated him.
I wonder if there's like, you know, he has to know, right? I mean, you just know at this point. He must have had conversations where he's like, I'm sorry, guys, I just can't fucking sing. I mean, he tries. He works at his craft.
He's not even the best singer in the band called the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
John
Frusciante can sing better than him.
Oh, by a mile. Yeah. Oh, by a mile.
So, they used to always say that about Ringo. Ringo wasn't even the best drummer in the Beatles.
Which is so funny.
Anthony is not the best singer in that band.
That is funny.
But is he responsible for the sound and the style and the presentation and all of that? Of course he is.
Correct.
Of course he is.
Overrated is a tough one.
You're going to get us in trouble on this list.
I just don't understand what overrated means. Okay. It's just hard. Like, I mean, if you put me in a band and taught me a few chords and the band ended up going to #1 and had a couple of hits. Yeah, that's not fair. That's not good. I'm sure there's plenty of musicians out there that have ridden the coattails of a great singer and maybe they're underrated or overrated. That's different.
Right.
It's just not, that's just a lack of talent and get lucky.
If we want to maybe we should do this. Maybe these are the kind of lists that we should be doing. And, the #1, overrated band of all time, the Beatles. I mean, really, what did they ever really do? I mean, if you really break apart those 3 chords, what did they create? Nothing.
Really nothing.
You really could tear apart anybody, though. I mean, and there's people that are way smarter than us, which is everybody. I imagine you could sit there and dissect every single band out there and tell me why they're overrated. You're the biggest band in the world for a reason. You're pretty good. Well, you can't fool all the people all the time. You just can't. And Beyonce's playing stadiums. So obviously she's wicked talented.
Correct.
I just, there's just something that just, all right. When she announced her pregnancy, she's like, look at my baby.
Yeah,
look at my baby.
But is that a product of is that her? Or is that just a product of the times we're in right now with social media? Everyone's got to make a big fucking deal out of everything they do. The whole gender reveal parties where they've blown out of proportion. It's like, what are you doing? Who gives a shit, man? Oh, you had that for dinner? Congratulations. Wow, you can make macaroni and cheese, you dipshit. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's part of the product of the environment that we're in too. I don't know. I saw Beyonce years ago and holy shit, dude. Wow. Yeah, what a show. What a show. I mean, hands down, unbelievable from beginning to end. But like seeing so many artists we've seen over the years, right? You've probably been in the same situation where like you might go see a band that you like a lot, but it feels mechanical because they're just doing their set. It doesn't, they're not selling it as something that's really badass where you're really taken away. They're not really blowing your minds, right? Everyone's got a set because you got to coordinate with the lights and all the bullshit that goes with a show, right? Every band does that. But you want it to feel organic and real. I even got to the point where I was watching Van Halen or not to shit on Kiss, but God damn, if I didn't know when the blood was coming or the fire was coming out of the guitar, I mean, but it's a show. But it was great every time. And for someone who'd never seen the band, you're like, what? That's awesome. So it just doesn't feel organic. I think maybe that's part of the problem with Beyonce. It all feels very staged, very particular.
Just the formula. All right, I got you. I got you. What else did you said you brought something in because I'm going to tell everybody what top 5 you turned down today.
Oh, God damn it. I'm always in trouble. No, it's funny. I was and this just happened a little while ago. I was talking to my wife downstairs and we were talking. What the hell was it? Shit. Oh, she's like, yeah, my nephew went to kindergarten today and he was wearing a band t-shirt. I think it was he was wearing a Red Hot Chili Peppers, small little Red Hot Chili Peppers t-shirt to school, kindergarten. I'm like,
best rock singer in the world.
Fucking awesome, right? And then I'm like, well, that's badass. And I'm like, well, my son today went to school, his first year in high school. He's wearing I think it was a Foo Fighters shirt. You got him. Did you get him a Foo Fighters shirt? You got him something Foo Fighters.
Did. I can't remember what it is.
It meant a lot, obviously. Anyway, he's wearing a Foo Fighters t-shirt to school. He wore a Chili Peppers the other day. He's got a Beastie Boys shirt. And I'm sitting there and I go, fuck all that, man. I said, I was wearing fucking Garanimals when I went to school. Dude, there were no cool rock shirts when I was going to elementary or middle school.
Well, but okay, you're right. Like the little guy, the nephew, I can understand. Yeah, like our parents weren't cool. Our parents weren't cool. Our parents weren't putting us in, the music that they liked in those T-shirts.
Right. They weren't as readily available either. So I guess that's fair.
But Henry, your son starting high school, boom. Of course, you were wearing shit like that in high school. But the little guy, no. Our parents didn't care about being cool.
No, it didn't matter.
They didn't care about us looking cool. Mm-mm. They didn't care. I mean, fuck, I had an older sister. I wore hand-me-downs from my sister. You think my mom gave a shit about one person saying, like a winter coat? There's a picture of me and my sister were shoveling, and the coat that I'm wearing was my sister's. My mom did not give a shit if one person said to me, ha, that was your sister's coat you're wearing.
Yep.
And punched me in the face. My mom would not care.
Nope.
It's like, I don't care. It's a good coat. You're wearing it.
It works. You're not going to die.
Didn't care.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. No, and I always felt bad because I was the older brother. My poor brother, younger brother. I'd wear shit and then there it'd be on him, man. And it's just what he had to deal with. That's the way it was. The poor guy would be, and I would get like older cousin shit. So it was always, you were always pushing clothes around the family, man. Cause it was like anyone had a kid, boom. Okay. Well, we'll take Jason's stuff. Cause I was like the oldest kind of kid in the immediate family. So that would go over to here to cousins and this, and then I would get stuff from older cousins to me, and clothes got a lot of use back in the day. You didn't just wear a shirt for a couple of months and then gone. It thing got some mileage on it.
Everybody's wearing brand new clothes first day of school. It's awesome. Everyone's, stepping on your sneakers because they're brand new. You're like, fuck, dude, get off my sneakers. Come on. Because for the longest, white sneakers were such a big thing. Some guy would come up and step on them. You're like, fuck, dude, my mom's going to kill me. I just got these. First day of high school for me was 10, 11, and 12.
Yep.
So first day of high school, Jason Ginty, 86, 85. I go into school on that first day. A lot of pressure, man, because seniors are a big deal. Yep. I can only even imagine like what it's like for Henry's in ninth grade, right?
Correct. A whole nother year
younger. The difference between a ninth grader and a senior, I was nervous about seniors and I was in 10th grade. But I wore a 97 Rock t-shirt.
Nice.
I remember specifically. I wore a 97 Rock t-shirt my first day in high school. It's a black shirt. It's got the cool 97 Rock logo on it. That was I think our whole lives it's just been a classic rock station. They kind of maybe played some active stuff, some current stuff, maybe way back in the day. But that was me making my statement. You're dealing with a rocker here. You're dealing with a rocker.
Look out. I'll play the drums on your face.
I wanted everybody to know this is who you have coming to your school now. I'm fucking the shit. Okay? I am the tits. I fucking listen to 97 Rock. I'm a rocker. I'm here for it. Who's with me?
Yeah, but here's the problem with that. Then when it got cold, you walk around your sister's fucking jacket.
Yeah.
Underneath, I'm badass.
I remember stressing out that first day of school. I remember stressing out, and I thought that was my best option. The 97 Rock logo, there was a station here. That logo was ripped off from a station here. I believe that was 97 Rock before. And I don't know who had the logo first, but I do know that Andy Travis, the program director of WKRP in Cincinnati, had that bumper sticker on his wall in his office.
Whoa, that's pretty
He had the 97 Rock logo. Now, whether it was the Houston one or the Buffalo one, I think everybody in Buffalo would claim that it was the Buffalo one. But if you remember his office, he had bumper stickers from radio stations all across America. Right. And you could see the 97 Rock one in his office.
God, back in the day, you used to have those too. Now, who's got bumper stickers anymore? Because nobody puts shit on their cars.
No.
Unless it's that weird chalk outline family on the window. That's all you put on the back of your window nowadays,
Or my kid beat up your honor student. That's always a good one.
Or Calvin pissing on something. That's about all you got on Windows anymore, man. It's a bit messed up. It was just weird. I asked my son, I said, hey man, are like seniors got beards and shit. He goes, oh yeah, they're monsters. He goes, they're just monsters. They're huge. And Henry's not a very big kid. Yeah. He goes, yeah, I kind of steer away from them. He goes, first day he goes out to lunch, and they'd have like a lunch room, but then they got like this big ass courtyard. So it's an outdoor courtyard. So you can go in, get your lunch. You can either sit at the tables in the courtyard outside. You can sit in a lunchroom. So he's
like
thinking,
a yard in prison.
yeah, well, high school is basically just a nicer version of prison if you really think
Right.
about it. You boil it down. And he walks in and he gets his lunch and he comes out and he's like looking around for a table and he sits down, and some senior comes up and goes, get your ass over there on the bench. Freshman.
Did he really?
He's just like, okay, see it. And boom. He goes, yeah, the freshmen all sit on like the, they got like trees and landscaping and shit and like the little brick shelves or, like the perimeter. So you like little benches. He's like, all the freshmen are sitting there cutting their fucking meat, sitting with their plates on their lap.
They don't get the tables. The seniors, they get the tables. Okay.
Bro, freshmen ain't getting. So that he was saying that there was a line. There was a couple, because they got a couple different lines in the lunchroom, right? One was like some shit he didn't want to eat, and he really wanted a cheeseburger. They got a cheeseburger. They just serve cheeseburgers every day. If that's what you want to eat, you can be Elvis and get cheeseburgers every day. But they usually serve something different every day in another line. He said the second day or third day of school, he's like, standing in the one line, he's like, fuck, I really want a cheeseburger. Well, the line for the cheeseburgers was almost all seniors, right? And he's like, fuck this. And he goes over and he stands in line with the seniors, right? And he's standing there with all his buddies who are freshmen in line for lunch. And they're all looking at him going, what are you doing, man? Oh my God. And he's like, what? I'm just standing in line. And he's like, I like broke some weird code and rule and nobody said shit to me. He goes, nobody gave a shit. I said, yeah, but if you try to sit down at the table, bro, you're done.
That's funny.
Yeah. I'm like, wow. I'm reliving all these nightmares of my own high school experience through my kid. It's terrible. I don't recommend it for anyone. It's awful.
In the high school halls, in the backs of cars. I don't even know the words, but yeah. Subdivisions, Rush,
great
Subdivisions.
Song. Little drummy, but I get it. Dude, let's you want to do the 80s thing after this, or you want to do go right into the INXS shit?
Oh, well, it just the other thing that I sent Jake was Kevin Rowland is having a birthday on Thursday when this podcast debuts on August 17th.
Correct.
Kevin Rowland is 70 years old, and that's okay. There won't be a quiz. He's the lead singer of Dexy's Midnight Runners. Right. Come on, Eileen.
Ah, yes. Famous song. Played at all this high school dances, actually.
So my question is, because just in case you just did not have any interest at all in INXS, I always try to have a backup plan. And I thought, best one-hit wonders. Is there any denying that if you do a top 5 one-hit wonder list, Come On Eileen absolutely has to be in that top 5? Yes or no?
Wow.
I mean,
yeah.
Because our lists are your favorite, then you could easily say no. But I'd have a hard time accepting a top 5 one-hit wonder list without that song on there.
How you could do that? Come On Eileen. You could do Don't You Forget About Me. You could throw in Tainted Love. I mean, that's 3 just from the 80s right there.
That's the thing about one-hit wonders. Mine are all lumped into the same 3 years. Turning Japanese by the Vapors.
Brilliant song. Yeah, love that too.
Devo, Whip It. Gary Newman, Cars. They're all just like old, like new wave 80s songs, But if you look at it, is the biggest one-hit wonder of all time the Macarena?
Gangnam Style.
We do right.
Korean
Gangnam Style.
That
Gangnam Style probably is the biggest
as far as YouTube hits, yeah, and stuff.
That's why we always do our favorites and not the biggest, because we don't give a shit that Gangnam Style or Who Let the Dogs Out. I'm not putting that on my fucking list.
Back That Ass Up. God, we are so straight right now.
Baby Got Back.
Yeah. You could do Ice Ice Baby.
Bust a Move.
Funky Cold Medina. Oh my God, we're gonna be here all night. Holy shit, this is great. You could go a little cooler and do like
Funky Cold Medina. He had a follow-up hit.
Oh, he did.
He had a follow-up hit. Funky Cold Medina. Oh, well, Wild Thing was the first song.
Wild Thing was first. Yeah. Okay. I
And
failed.
then Funky Cold Medina was the second song. So
Yeah, you're
he's
right.
he's a solid two-hit wonder.
What was the Biz Markie song? We're just friends.
You got what I need.
Yeah, that song.
She tells me I'm just a friend.
You could bust out Violent Femmes, Blister in the Sun. They didn't really have
that
a
would
second.
count. That would count. I mean, there's going to be some nerd that like, oh, dude, fuck, everybody knows this song.
Sure they don't.
Like,
no,
get
we
your
don't.
Gordon Gano out of here, whatever.
Yeah. I'm not from Milwaukee. Come on, I don't know shit.
I
Good
like
idea,
it. I like it. I think maybe down the road when we get into a pinch when we have nothing, one-hit wonders. But guys, send us your stuff though. If you have an idea for a top 5, if you don't enjoy what we come up with, step out
listening
on the
to
ledge,
us
man.
for
Tell
it.
me what you think we should do for a top 5.
Well, the top 5 favorite INXS tunes coming up after I tell you about the Rod Ryan Show Care Store. It's going to be online for about 1 more week. Okay, what are you waiting for? All new.
That's it. This week, I didn't update the copy. We're passing out backpacks on Saturday.
So
get
can
your
I still
ass
go
in
online
the store now?
right now? Like
yes.
Pause. Go do your shit. Buy some cool T-shirts or koozies or stickers, and then come back and listen to the top 5 favorite INXS tunes. Raising some money to purchase backpacks for area kids who are definitely going to need them. Working again with Houston Children's Charity, trying to outdo last year, raising over $101,000 and passing out over 3,500 filled backpacks. You got safe, secure shopping now. And when I say now, I don't mean in 20 minutes. I don't mean tomorrow. I mean now on the world famous Rod Ryan Show page at thebuzz.com. It's fun. When we do the top 5s, it's usually fairly simple. I'll do a little research and bang, bang, bang. I'll knock out the 5 tunes. No problem, right? It's maybe 5-10 minutes of Googling some shit, right? INXS, I dove in. I started watching videos that I'd never seen before. And I started kind of going through their catalog a little bit more. No, I didn't have all day, but I spent maybe 12 minutes, which is a lot more than normal. And damn it, dude, you're right. And like I said earlier, I've come to INXS later in life when my appreciation, I grew up, right? My palate expanded. I wasn't just eating meat and potatoes every day with my hair metal. I've expanded, and I continue to expand this day. I'm a Harry Styles fan now. What can I say? Would it be fair if you had to describe Michael Hutchence as a cross between Mick Jagger, Iggy Pop, and Jim Morrison?
Perfect.
Yeah, thanks. You're welcome.
Perfect.
I just, back in the day, again, going off what I knew when I was young and stupid, he was just a pretty boy to me. I was like, who's this asshole? Who are these guys trying to be U2? Although they were kind of same time period, I'm like, it kind of felt that way back then. I kind of thought that. And the Duran Duran reference you had earlier, great reference as well. But man, as I got older, I dug INXS because I realized later in life the girls liked INXS. So guess who got to become a fan more of INXS? Yeah, that's how it works, Rod. Girls will do it every time.
Yeah, follow the ass.
Follow the ass. That should be on a Hallmark card, dude. That's some good advice. I like that. I probably won't give that to my son, by the way.
Michael Hutchence died November 22nd, 1997. That night, I was in the then called the Louisiana Superdome, and I had gone to the U2 concert. Wow. And I'd heard that Michael Hutchence died on my way out, listening to our radio station. Might have been John Marty talking about it on the radio. But yeah, I mean, there's a huge connection between INXS and U2. I mean, Bono and him were really, really close and everything. And then you got, Bob Geldof, and there was a mess there going on. There was a crazy mess going on. And Michael Hutchence was a mess at the end of his life. I had always heard, and we're going to have to ask our PD friend Vince. I think he could have got INXS cheap on that first Mojo Music Festival, and he said that seems out of place. I think he could have got them, and that would have been my opportunity to see INXS. I never saw him live.
Wow. Yeah,
I never saw them live, and if it wasn't him, then it was Dave Stewart. I'll ask them. I'll ask both of them because I just recently texted both of them. And I'll ask, hey, did you guys pass up INXS on the cheap on one of our festivals?
Well,
Because I really do think that happened. And I'm so angry that they said no to it. Now, I get it. It would have sounded weird, but we look at festivals now, even back then when we were doing festivals in the 90s, everything had to make sense. There was no like fluff or fringy, oh, let's just put this guy on because it would be cool. They didn't do that.
No,
they didn't have a rock show and then like, let's just put Jay-Z up there for a couple of tunes. People will go crazy. It wasn't like that. Everything had to make sense. So INXS would have been a little outside because they were already, 90, Nirvana's out already 8 years. But I think we could have got them on the cheap and had them on a show.
Man, that would have been cool for a few people. But again, at that time, they weren't exactly hot. You know what I mean? So that's probably part of the reason.
That's why that they were ready to work. They were ready to come out and do a show and they were ready to do that sort of thing.
God, it's terrible, man. It's terrible, terrible, terrible stuff. But at the time, looking back on it, man, I tell you what, Michael Hutchence, that was your rock star, man. That dude was handsome. Holy shit. Wow.
He was captivating. Handsome. He was so captivating, and you just couldn't take your eyes off of him. And, you would have to mention in those three guys that you mentioned, you got to put Elvis in there. That the charisma, that young Elvis and even old Elvis, the charisma. There's just that, I know the TV show, is X Factor, but before that, there was a thing called, there's that X Factor, and he had that thing where he's just so unbelievably dynamic and just the coolest fucking dude. Kind of how we talk a little bit about Chris Cornell had that thing that he just was like the fucking smoothest, coolest guy every room he was in. Michael Hutchence was like that too. It's early on that early 80s stuff.
Yeah.
Which is going to play into my list. He had it from jump. He had it from the get-go.
The later stuff when the MTV videos were really kicking in and stuff, and he's got the long hair and he's just a damn rock star. You watch the videos and you're looking at him, and I'm like, why are you even bothering to show the rest of the dorks in that band? Those are great musicians, but my God, man, like it's like standing around next to Michael Hutchence. What's the point? There's no reason. Nobody cares. I mean, you got to give each guy a FaceTime on there. Oh, here's the drummer. Clickety clack. You know what I mean? Oh, here's the bass player. Doom, doom, doom. Okay, great. Now back to Hutchence. Like, you're like, why are they even in the video shot? But I get it. It's a band. So it's cool that they put them in there. But man, you just look and it's like, this guy is Mount Everest compared to a bunch of dorks on a hill. It's unbelievable.
And Michael Hutchence was a songwriter too.
Yep.
Between him and the keyboard player, the reason we're doing this list today is because Tim Ferriss from INXS is 66. So I don't know. There's Ferris's everywhere, but the keyboard player, who's the dorkiest guy in the band, he's the guy that writes the music. He's kind of the musical genius, but he worked so well with Michael Hutchence. There's a great movie that they made, and I saw it on Showtime. It's a 2-part thing where actors are playing INXS. That could go bad if they don't cast the right people. So it wasn't big enough to be on the big screen. And I think it might have even been made in Australia. But it might be called Never Tear Us Apart or something. Like, it's a song title and it's really good. The dude that they get to play Michael Hutchence is perfect. And that's the one that has to be cast, right?
Oh yeah, because what's the point? You get it wrong, it's dumb. Who's watching? It's
really good. I'll look it up in a minute, but I don't know where you would see it. But I learned a ton about the band, and apparently the band was on board with it and everything. It's cast really well. It's done really, really good. I'll find the name of it before we're done. Who wants to go first here?
You're the bigger fan.
Okay.
But I have a funny feeling you're going to have better songs, and
I don't. They have a fucking million great songs. Do you agree with me on that they have a million great songs?
Yes, because it was weird because as I was putting my 5 down, I'm like, whoa, oh shit. I thought it'd be easy. I just go, these 5. Well, then I had like 9. And I'm like, oh shit. This isn't going to be easy.
There's 5 singles on Kick.
I know,
5 singles that were all bangers.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. No, they got some great shit.
You know, that's an all-time thing. They were U2. I mean, they were as big as U2. I mean, they were as big as like you see it like a Coldplay. They got to that level 88, 89 that, you know, they could have been on, you know, they could have been on one of those Rolling Stones, you know, here's the biggest band in the world, INXS. They were up there. You know, the Police had their moment. U2's had their moment for a long time, but INXS had a moment where they were kind of one of the biggest bands in the world.
Yeah, I think they were kind of running out of steam when Nirvana hit too, though, because they're out. Their songs kind of went,
oh yeah,
you know, but bam, Nirvana hits, and then okay, now that I guess not just hair metal, but a lot of the new wave shit kind of went quiet real quick too. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why don't you go ahead and start this thing off?
Okay,
let's see what you got here.
5 singles off of the Kick album. That album is a masterpiece. Never Tear Us Apart is my number 5 song.
What?
It's an amazing song.
5?
Number 5. Michael Hutchins' vocals are phenomenal on it. Played at his wedding, and I believe played at his funeral. I think that's the only INXS song played at his funeral.
That's heavy.
Right?
Didn't know that. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
When you pick one song that you're laying your buddy, your brother, you're laying this guy to rest, that's the one that was played. So I got that in at number 5. It's just an unbelievable song. Number 4 is Suicide Blonde.
Oh, yes, I never got into that one. I don't know why. I couldn't.
Suicide Blonde. That harmonica.
Yeah, very Stones like, yeah.
That harmonica is so awesome. And I remember the video, and you know, if you didn't have that song, you would never have the Seven Nation Army video, if you know what any of these videos look like.
True. Yeah.
But I love the song. It's the follow-up. It came out. So Kick was so huge, and then they came out with Suicide Blonde, and I just thought, oh fuck, okay. Because a lot of times, you know, band puts out a huge album, you know, Third Eye Blind, 5 singles, right? Matchbox 20, 4 singles. And then, you know, tell me what the second album did, or, you know, the album after that. They came out with Suicide Blonde, and they fucking punched you in the mouth again. It was awesome.
Yeah.
That's my number 4.
Damn.
Number 3 is Mystify. Mystify was the 5th single that they released off of the Kick album.
Right.
And it's just, they got the finger snapping and the piano, and I don't know. It's just, I love it. Number 3, Mystify.
Damn.
Number 2 is the title track from Kick, Is Kick. And that's what got me to buy that album, man. That song was just, sometimes you kick, sometimes you get kicked. And it was a fucking rocker. And that's what kind of led me to believe that, okay, these guys could rock.
Right.
It's a rock song. It is an absolute banger. Number 2 is Kick. And then number 1 is going all the way back to 1982. You want to watch a video, and you'll see that Michael Hutchins already has it. Don't Change.
Yeah.
It was covered by the Goo Goo Dolls. It was covered by a bunch of other bands, but the Goo Goo Dolls definitely borrowed some stuff back in the day from INXS, and they definitely borrowed from that song, and they wound up doing a cover of it. But yeah, INXS going back to 82, dude. They're all super skinny. The video's kind of hokey, but they're still like in the outback. So they hadn't even, you know, they hadn't seen the world yet. But you could just tell that Michael Hutchins, even though the movements are very early 80s, it's very Belinda Carlisle, go-go. Everybody's got the same kind of move.
Wake me up before you go-go. Yeah, he's got a Jagger-esque kind of style in that video. I was just watching it. Yeah, he's got a bit of a Jagger 80s vibe going on. If you watch his movements a little bit.
But he already has it. Like, there's this weird confidence from this young kid. They were kids in that.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
They were kids. They were teenagers.
Jesus. And talented out of the gate, you know?
Yeah.
And this was before he had the long hair and was a badass, you know? Wow. Good list.
Don't Change. And I think even with all the hits that they had, I believe, even though I never saw them live, I think they used to close with Don't Change. So they kind of knew, you know, this is the one that kind of put us on the map, that at least, you know, opened up the doors for us. Obviously, the Kick album put them on the map. But when you hang on to something old, it's Metallica, ending with Seek and Destroy.
Correct.
They're going all the way back to Kill 'Em All, and you kind of know like that's your walkout music.
Right. Well, Disappear is a banger. First of all, it's got tempo, and you don't want to walk out after Never Tear Us Apart. It's kind of a bummer. Although it'd be great, but like Don't Change makes sense. Plus, you're harkening back to like, hey, we were like 12 when we wrote this song. This is awesome. There's probably a lot of emotional ties that go into it for the band.
Yeah, like you're not going anywhere. You need to hear all of Don't Change. But I think that when they played that, you knew it was over. Like Van Halen, I hated that they would go out with Jump. I know it was their biggest song. It was the worst song to end on.
I would have fucking opened with Jump. Just be like, fuck you. Here we go. At that point, they had so many songs everybody knew. No one's there to see Jump, really, at the end of the day, unless it's like somebody's wife who doesn't know anything. Good list, man. Wow. We have a couple of similar tunes on here, but a different order, I will say. Number 5, favorite INXS tunes. Number 5, 1990s X album, Disappear.
Great song.
Fucking great. That and I may have this wrong because I listen to a lot of INXS things. It's that do however he's do it. Just that is awesome. Like you can get away with that. So Disappear, 1990 from X. Number 4 from Kick, 87. Need You Tonight.
Oh yeah, I mean those.
You can't go wrong.
All of those songs are just fuck. If you got Devil Inside, I can't. They're all great. They're all great, man. Everything off that album is amazing.
So cool. Number 5, 4, 3. 1985. Listen Like Thieves. I don't know why I like that song. I don't even know where it came from. It was on my playlist. I must have downloaded it at some point. I listen to that song all the damn time, even today. I don't know why. Have no idea. Love it. Listen Like Thieves from 1985, going back pretty far.
That is a great song.
Number 2, same song from Kick, 87, Never Tear Us Apart. Had it number 2 just because it's so fucking good. So good. That would be the song that you would say, to quote an earlier moment in the podcast, follow the ass. Follow the ass. That's the song. Right.
And
there. But great.
Back in the day, that had to be played at every wedding, right?
Weddings, absolutely. If
that had to be at every wedding. That had to be the fucking prom song that year, all that shit.
87. Yeah, I can only imagine, And then oddly enough,
this got a fucking sax solo in it.
This is wild. I don't think we've had the same number 1. God, it doesn't happen very often. Don't Change, 1982.
Come on.
Shabu Shuba album, 82.
Shabu.
Don't Change. Now, what's interesting about that, Rod, is like I said, I came to this band much, much later. I didn't take the original wave. I learned about Don't Change because of the Goo Goo Dolls cover in Buffalo. We played it up there for a while. And I was like, damn it, this is, and I knew it was a cover. I mean, I knew that they had covered it. I'm like, this is fucking great. And I'm like, and I love the energy of it. And I went, well, let me go. I always want to go back and listen. If I don't know a song that's a cover, I want to go back and hear what they did from the original. How did they change it? And all of the Goo Goo Dolls, what really did with it is speed it up a little bit and get a little more rockish. But that is so great. That is such a great freaking song. And they look like they're 12 in the video. They come in that warehouse and they're dancing around like jagoffs.
It's
and they're
goofy,
socks.
right?
But you look at them and you're like,
they're all skinny.
But for 82, that was in the pocket. That's why I kind of got the U2 vibe off them. They had that early U2 vibe looking, and you could see where there's similarities kind of happening. And you're like, wow. And Michael Hutchence, again, got a little bit of that Jagger-esque moves. It's like he's doing them and then he's like stopping himself from doing those Jagger moves because he knows it's fucking Jagger. When you watch the video for Don't Change, you can feel it. You're like, oh, don't do that move because that's Jagger. You know what I mean? You could just see him kind of sorting it all out. And then as he got older, it's just like fucking rock star. Absolute rock star.
Yeah.
The Devil Inside, I think that was the song they play in the one scene in the movie Rockstar with Marky Mark. After they do the first show and they go to that party.
He takes a pill. He takes a pill.
Yes.
And then Jennifer Aniston fucking starts making out with that chick.
It's so great. Oh my God. Let's just drink that in for a minute.
Inside.
God, I love that movie. Love that
The
movie. Anyway.
last song that they really had a hit with was "Beautiful Girl," and it's come to mean so much to me. Andrew Ferris wrote it for his daughter.
Right.
And "Beautiful Girl" is this great video, and it's long before people started using and again, it's so funny. Like a lot of this INXS stuff, we don't do this anymore with bands. At least I don't. But I associate these songs with videos. The imagery was so important with a band like INXS because of everything, how we're just doting over Michael Hutchence. But they made cool videos too. But I just remember the "Beautiful Girl" video, and it really. If you want to go back and look at this, 1992, who else was doing this? It was total like this body positivity with all these different girls in shapes and sizes and everything in this video, which is so commonplace right now. Correct. But it wasn't happening like that in 92. No. And I mean, even go to Suicide Blonde. They're using the hot models. Boom, boom, boom. They're hitting you, just hot chicks, the whole thing. But a little classier than Hot for Teacher from Van Halen. They were just a little classier. Right. But they were still selling sex. That "Beautiful Girl" song, man, I think you'd be impressed with that video. They were ahead of their time on that. And he wrote it about his daughter. And it reminds me, it's such a good song. It's almost an answer to, and I do think Andrew Ferris is that good a songwriter. He's the keyboard player. John Lennon had that song "Beautiful, Beautiful Boy" that he wrote for his son. Right. And Sean Lennon. And this is kind of like his version of it. It's pretty fucking great. But that was kind of the last time that they, Nirvana was already doing their thing when that song came out. And INXS was already kind of, it's weird to think about it because Michael Hutchence died young, but he was, he was 37 when he died. And INXS was old news. Yeah. He was old news. The world was changing, and it was not taking INXS along with them. No. And well, you think about it, 82, we just talked about it. Don't Change, 1982, 1997, you said. That's a hell of a run. That's a long, long run. And at the end, it was spiraling out of control. I mean, they weren't on the radio much anymore. And then obviously he had some issues, a lot of issues, with drugs and stuff, and the way he went out was just awful. I remember hearing about it going, what? What? I mean, this is the first time I had ever heard of autoerotic asphyxiation. I had never, I never heard of it before, and it's like, what? I mean, if jacking off just ain't enough, like you got to bring yourself to the point where you're choking yourself and passing out. Yeah, you got a belt around your neck and you're hanging yourself trying to finish before you fucking die. That's how Kill Bill died. Yeah, David Carradine. I don't know if it was David or Keith Carradine. David Carradine. David. He did the same thing. I'm like, obviously you can't put yourself in someone else's shoes, but you're kind of like, I get that. If I did it, people would go, yeah, I could see that. Michael Hutchence, unbelievably great looking dude, cool rock star. Kind of thought he could maybe get a girl, a chick, maybe, but that's not why you do it. You or I go out that way. People would just go, yeah, I totally get it. I believe the movie that I'm talking about is Never Tear Us Apart, the untold story of INXS. And again, this is where they went out and got people. So the guy who played Michael Hutchence is Luke Arnold. And the Ferris brothers and everybody that played the Ferris brothers, everybody looked unbelievable. You got to get somebody to play Bono because Bono plays a big role in INXS's story. Right. And then the guy that put together Live Aid, the guy from the Boomtown Rats, Geldof, right? Bob Geldof. Yeah. He plays a big role in this because Michael Hutchence starts banging his chick. Oh, that's right. And then he has a baby with her and wants Bono to be the godfather. He's like, I can't be the godfather of this kid. Fucking Bob Geldof's my best friend. And it's like, dude, you're putting me in a weird spot here, man. I love you, but you're banging my best friend's ex-wife. And now you're asking me to be the godfather. This was all in this movie. Dude. I'm telling you, I don't know where you can watch it. Trust me when I say the casting on this, it's just like how much you loved Austin Butler. Is that his name? It's Elvis. Yeah. Elvis. Yeah. Listen, this isn't a made for TV. This isn't a made for the big screen thing. But if you like INXS, I promise you, the guy that plays Michael Hutchins is nails.
Really? Huh.
Yes.
That's cool. I was just sitting here thinking about how we always talk about like what band would deserves a big screen. INXS doesn't deserve the big screen treatment, but I think if someone did like Motley Crue did, like The Dirt, and did it for like Netflix or whatever, a streamer, I think there's enough meat on the bone there with all the hits, all the songs, and starting out at 82 and all the backstories. If you could get the band to sign off on the real stories, that'd be something worth watching. You know, I mean, this sounds cool what you're talking about. Don't get me wrong.
This is it. I think this is what they had because, I mean, this is what they had for the Australian audience. And then it probably played everywhere in the world. But, I mean, it played on our channels here. I saw it on Showtime or something.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's 2 parts, and it might be, an hour and a half, 2 episodes, 3, maybe 4 hours.
Oh, shit. Okay.
But, man, it's just it's compelling. And you see them as somebody from the band. I don't know if it's Andrew Ferris, one of the Ferris. I don't know how closely they monitored this, but it really talks about the creativity and how these songs came together. And dude, I mean, just like you're watching Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's like they're putting and ideas are coming, and boom, boom, cha, boom, boom, cha. Like they in the movie they show like, hey, this came to me. We should try something like this. They're talking about these songs that became these huge hits and these ideas that were flowing. INXS, man, had this run where just like everything they tried was working. And the movie does a really good job portraying that. I'm telling you, it's great. I will have to check that one out because like I've already seen The Bear. I've finished it. So now I got to find some other things to watch. And I don't want to dive into another series. It's there's too much of a commitment, but this I could do. Plus it's music and stuff. So that's kind of cool. I'll have to check that thing out, man. Very cool. God, I don't know where the heck you'll find it, though. Let me, before we wrap this thing up here, listen, I was just in New Orleans. It's awesome. Sure, it's hot, but man, people were there partying, red dress. I got to see my friend Jason. Yeah. If you head to New Orleans, you can see Jason. He does tours. It's Pirates of the Quarter. PiratesOfTheQuarter.com is the website. It's a French Quarter walking tour, but it's different than every other tour that is available in the city. Real pirate history. The stories of like how New Orleans became New Orleans, the history of New Orleans. It's all like fact-based and it's fun. You're going to come away like knowing cool stuff. Book your tour at piratesofthequarter.com. If you already took the tour and you maybe didn't get the merchandise because you didn't have it yet, well, they got it now. So check out the shop page at piratesofthequarter.com. They got kick-ass t-shirts for sale. Everything is at piratesofthequarter.com. Everything on socials is at Pirates of the Quarter. And they're making moves over there. So I can't wait for some new announcements coming soon with what's going on with our pirate friends. Look, as much as the Pirates of the Quarter would love you to buy a t-shirt, take that money right now, this week, and go over to thebuzz.com and get yourself your Rod Ryan Shows Cares a t-shirt. That's more important to me right now. All right. Don't worry about that other pirate shit. But when you come to New Orleans, come see the Pirates, man. Before we wrap up, Rod, we always talk about like albums and music and all that. It's kind of our wheelhouse. So I just Googled, did a little work today, and I dug up the top selling rock albums of all time, according to the website yardbarker.com. Not sure how credible they are, but they said they did a lot of research and looked at the numbers, the record industry charts and graphs. So it's legit. I looked at it. I'm like, oh, this makes sense. So I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but I just wanted to kind of go through this so people got an idea. Like when we talk about like certain albums, we're like, oh, Creed did this and Nickelback did that. People are like, well, what's the context in that, right? So if you look at it, and I'll just go, I picked the top 10, but then I realized I had to throw in number 11 because it's really something that we talk a lot about. This is the top selling rock albums of all time. Okay. Can you guess number 1? You probably know it. Eagles' Greatest Hits. Congratulations. You win the prize. Number 11. It didn't sell more than like say Michael Jackson's Thriller, but we're just talking rock albums now, right? So Michael Jackson wouldn't be on here, or Garth Brooks wouldn't be on here. Garth wouldn't be on there. Michael Jackson for some reason fits on this list, and I don't know why. I guess. Oh, really? Okay, interesting. Well, I mean, it's weird. Again, I mean, whatever. Blurred lines. Number 11, Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses, 18 million albums. I've bought in probably 4 over the years, so you're welcome, Slash. Number 10, Fleetwood Mac, Rumors, 20 million albums.
It's pretty funny.
Just played here. Stevie Nicks just played here. And it's funny. You got a guy on my show, Alex, who's, 35, doesn't know anything about Fleetwood Mac, nothing. Why would he? You know what I mean? He shouldn't.
No.
But Daisy Jones and the Six, and then he deep dives, which he does because he's this obsessive guy. And then boom, he goes to see Stevie Nicks and his mind is blown, you know?
She's something else.
Daisy Jones and the Six, which he's watched twice now, start to finish, got him to go see that. And, he can tell you all about Rumors and, how important it is. And it's funny how something got him there.
That is actually kind of cool about that. 20 million, number 9, Hootie, with their album Cracked Rear View Mirror, 21 million albums. Hootie outsells Rumors, which, again, Pink Floyd The Wall, 23 million at number 8. Billy Joel's Greatest Hits, 23 million at number 7. The White Album from the Beatles, number 6, 24 million copies. Zeppelin 4, 24 million copies. That's the one with Rock and Roll and Stairway to Heaven. Number 4, AC/DC Back in Black, 25 million albums sold. Number 3, Eagles Hotel California, 26 million. Number 2, again, not sure why it falls into the rock category, but I don't know. Who gives a shit why? Number 2, Michael Jackson Thriller, 34 million copies. And then Eagles Greatest Hits, number 1, 38 million copies.
I wonder if those numbers, the Recording Industry Artists of America, RIAA,
right?
I wonder if those are true album, like SoundScan numbers. And I wonder if they've taken and weighted the download factor and all of that, because that probably is like that sounds to me like a true album sale number. What I mean by weighted is, I don't know, it's such a crazy thing to explain, but if you download an album, I don't know that they give you credit for selling an album. I think you got to download X amount of albums to count as an album sale. And singles,
really?
And if you download a certain number of singles, they've got some algorithm, which we all have heard that before.
Right.
There is a way to figure out what is the equivalent of all this downloading and streaming. What is the equivalent? That's why all the numbers are off. When you look at all of this stuff, Drake is going to have the top everything. Drake's going to outsell the Beatles.
Right.
Because they're waiting and they're looking at all these streaming numbers and everything now. It's really weird. You can you're the program director. You should know this shit. I don't know. I couldn't even begin to explain it to somebody, but they have come up with a mathematical formula that if you get X amount of streams, well, we're going to count that as buying the single. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a weird formula.
They got to redo everything. So if you want like asterisks and all of that, there's going to have to be pre this and pre that.
Right. Well, you think about that situation. Who's buying albums anymore? There's not the album sales like there used to be, because you don't need to. People are smart now. You can buy the songs you like off an album. You don't got to sit through the shitty songs. I mean, back in the 80s and in 90s, especially, before we switched over to everything is streams and buying singles, is you had to buy the album. So there might be one, or maybe if you were lucky, 2 good songs on an album. The rest of it was shit a lot of times, but you bought the album. Yes. So that was an album sale. And that's why a lot of record labels made so much money. And then when singles started coming out, you're like, oh, I could just buy the single. Oh, that's cool. And that's why when we went to just downloading and streaming, record industry went, oh shit.
Yeah.
And that's why we are where we are today. Now, personally, I've gone back to vinyl in the last few years, and I've bought albums, and I'm only going to buy albums now that are either like something I have no idea about through jazz or whatever, or bands that I'm like, oh, okay, this will be worth buying this album because I know it's going to be good. They're not going to put a bunch of shitty filler on there. I bought the new Foo Fighters album. Great. Start to finish, both sides. Awesome. But it's rare. I'm not buying albums. If I hear a song I like it, all right, I'll download it. I'll get the Chris Stapleton song you talked about. I'll go get me some Harry Styles singles. I'm not buying a fucking Harry Styles album. Just not doing it. Although maybe I should. I don't know.
Maybe you should.
Maybe I should. That makes me a real fan.
Final thoughts, Jason?
I don't buy albums. I wear suits now, but I don't wear. I don't fucking. I buy albums now. I buy albums. That's what I do.
I buy albums now.
I buy albums.
This guy, I'm like, dude, the Bear. You gotta watch the Bear. You gotta watch the Bear. The Bear's great. Bear's great. Bear's great. I'm so glad you finished it. The Christmas episode.
Oh,
I said it's the Red Wedding. Is that a pretty good way to explain what that explosive episode is?
It's just shocking.
Emmy nominations everywhere. Okay. Emmys for everybody. There's so many special guests in it. I don't want to ruin it because it's still pretty new.
Yeah, you just throw them out into the room and go, here, you just grab yours. It's like throwing Halloween candy on a table. Just grab what you want. It's good. Everybody grab one. It's cool. You'll see you later. Put your name on it later.
But yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis just won an Academy Award. Yeah, I promise you she wins an Emmy for this. I promise you. Now, keep in mind, the Emmys that just came out and the nominations, that was for season 1 of The Bear.
Correct.
Everything that came out. So, and it was nominated, it pretty heavily nominated. Yeah. And that's before most people even knew like what the hell this show was. So
I had no idea.
When season 2 rolls around, forget about it. It's everybody's gonna be up for everything. But I promise you, special guest at whatever, Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm just gonna say that. That's not ruining anything.
I don't think so. And I think I said the same thing when we were watching it. I was like, oh, there's your Emmy. Right there. She just kills it. She kills it. Although there's plenty of people in that scene or in that episode that you're like, wow, every
special guest on there. Heavy hitters.
Shit. Heavy hitting. Yeah. You got to watch The Bear. If you haven't watched it yet, do the Hulu thing. Watch it. It's not a lot of episodes. It's pretty freaking great. I've learned a lot through it. It's inspired me to do better cooking now. I've actually I've been doing a little more cooking, Rod. I don't know if that happened to you. If you started going, you know what, fuck that. I'm going to throw a little more action in my dinners now. I've done that.
I've maybe taken a little bit more time plating my stuff up. I mean, rather than just slapping it on the plate.
No smudges.
When I had my kid that mac and cheese, I wiped the sides a little bit. I'm polishing her little frog fork. I'm polishing it up and stuff. I have a little presentation now when I'm serving up my kid, toast points, cut the crust off. I got them on there a certain way now.
Yeah.
I honestly have. I really have because of that dumb job.
I've done the same thing. I actually was standing there the other day and I'm looking at a fork and I got a napkin. I'm polishing a fork as I'm like kind of standing there waiting for something to finish in the microwave. I'm like,
you got to watch it and all of this stuff will make sense. It's really good.
It's a well done series. Rod, any thoughts, final thoughts?
Yeah, completely shameless, man. One more time, one more plug. This is it. This is my last time telling you, please, man, go in the Rod Ryan Show Cares online store. It's my last time telling you go into the store until I tell you to go in the store again and go buy for something else. Because we're going to start Boobs Rock. We're going to be, Prostate Cancer Awareness Month is in 2 weeks. So I'm looking to get like my store offline for 2 whole weeks and then fire up a whole new line of stuff. And we'll get into, we donate money for breast cancer research. I got a golf tournament. I got all of this stuff coming up. I mean, this is the season that it's just, there's no rest at all. But so yeah, this is it. Saturday, we pass out the backpacks. I'm going to keep the store open all weekend long. So we're recording Wednesday night. This goes up on Thursday. So Friday, payday. It's not too late. You're like, well, Rod's passing out backpacks tomorrow. He doesn't need my money. Fuck, I don't. I need your money. And I'll let you go shop all weekend long. The Rod Ryan Show Cares online store. Just Google it. You'll get there. That's
Language. Come on, man. You're passing out backpacks to little kids. You gonna talk like that out there? What's up, cousin?
No, I will not. It's awesome. It's going to be hot, but it's going to be great.
Look at that. It's awesome. Well, congratulations on all your work on this. And it's a big deal. I don't think people realize, we're all just victims of going, oh, that looks cool. That's cool. Good for them. Nobody realizes the work that goes into these things. You know what I mean? Like anything like that, any of these charities, any of the races you see, anything that anyone does, there's a shit ton of work that goes in it behind the scenes. But we all just kind of go, oh, that's cool. That's cool. But that's how it works.
And I've used this one in podcasts before. People have asked me, hey, man, I bought a T-shirt. Can I come and pass out backpacks? That sounds like pretty fun, man. It sounds pretty rewarding. It's really rewarding. It really is. We just have so many people out there that your heart's in the right place. And thank you for helping. but this is my reminder, and this is anybody that's listening in New Orleans, and Jason, you've worked with different charities. Man, what doesn't cost you anything but just your time is volunteering at these places. So I work with Houston Children's Charity. There's the Houston Food Bank. I know you have First Harvesters over there.
Mhm.
They need people. They need boots on the ground. So, you know, you hear me, and I'm always asking for money. At least I'm trying to sell you a T-shirt or buy a fucking koozie or something to get something for your donation. I know. But because so many people ask me, because they know we're going to be there and they know we're passing out backpacks, and it's one of my favorite days of the entire year. It really is. I mean, that's not lip service either, man. That it makes all that hard work kind of worth it. You're passing out these backpacks, and it really is. It's very rewarding. But the Houston Furniture Bank and the food banks and all these, they need help, man. They need help, man. And they could use you on a Saturday. And I tell people that want to pass out backpacks, well, Houston Children's Charity, they do a mattress program. They do a store at Christmas time. They need your help. So if you're hot right now because you want to pass out a backpack, keep the heat going, man. Call someplace. Hey, can I volunteer? Can I volunteer? Everyone's got a website and everyone has a place. Click here if you want to help. You know, it's not, of course, everybody wants your money, but man, they need your time. They need you to go down there on a Saturday and spend a couple of hours, maybe sorting through clothes and stuff. You know, that's everybody.
Would it be fair to say that they maybe need hands, Rod?
Hands. I need hands. This guy's obsessed with the bear.
Oh my God. Every time, like, I'll hear it in the garage, my wife will come back. I need hands. I'll come running. There you go.
I'm in New Orleans for Red Dress Run. Jason's on his way down. I'm at this bar that he used to go to, that I still go to, Boondock Saint. I'm like, all right, well, let me know when you get close and I'll meet you. And this girl's sitting next to me, and she just happens to say she's from Chicago. I'm like, did you watch The Bear? She goes, fucking right, I watched The Bear. It's awesome. The show takes place in Chicago. I'm like, did you watch The Bear? You're from Chicago. Ooh. I didn't ask her if she watched Chicago ER or Chicago Hope or Blue Bloods or whatever. There's all those Chicago shows. You think I asked her about anything? I go, did you watch The Bear on Hulu? She's like, yes, of course.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, obviously we've talked to death, but yeah, check it out. Anyway, follow us on our social media channels: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram @PlayPantsPod. This mess is available not only where you get your audio, but you can watch this disaster on our YouTube channel. Throw down your comments. Let us know your top 5 favorite INXS tunes of all time, and any other future top 5s you got. Fire away. I'm out of here. I'm done. I've had a nice night, Rod. It's good hanging tonight.
Love the INXS list. Thanks, everybody.
Let's go. It's time. Put on play pants.
Find us wherever you listen to podcasts. See us on our YouTube channel and follow our social media pages @PlayPantsPod.